Hey, welcome back to the program. Well, the votes are in, the die is cast, and Great Britain will no longer be part of the European Union. Maybe. Now there's uncertainty and some rethinking, and many of the people said it wasn't fully understood to us. And why on earth would they vote that way in the first place? 100 different analysis and reasons. It wasn't that complicated, folks. I went to school at Cambridge University over in England. I've got good friends I stay in regular contact with in England. And it was the city versus the country. It was somewhat of a Donald Trump message that ought to be concerned here in the U.S. We want our country back. We just don't have our country. And it was pretty simplified in the rural areas, some going as high as 78% to get out of the European Union. It was the uncertainty. It was the fear of immigration coming in large numbers. Brits are pretty much all have been Anglican, the Church of England, very few Protestants and Catholics there. Pretty much a standard level of people from the north to the south. The biggest differences are what's happening in Scotland versus the Brits. They're all pretty much the same to begin with. And so there was the fear of the unknown. Immigration was a huge issue, a more silent issue of we've got our small villages, we know everybody, we just don't want a bunch of outsiders coming in. We might pay our taxes to help outsiders. We just don't want them in our backyard, number one. And number two, the economic implications. A number of jobs have been lost by the middle class, just like they have been here in the United States. Jobs have been going to the manufacturing jobs we used to have here and in Great Britain. Have gone into countries like Thailand and China. You know, if you go back to the Civil War, the wealth of the United States was in the South coming from the cotton production that went on ships primarily out of New Orleans, where I hang out, and went on ships to England, where all of the fine linens were made with cotton products. And so there was huge development in England in terms of the natural resources being made into goods. That's not happening anymore. A number of people have lost their jobs. The government's got some financial problems, and many people are on long-term pensions. The pensioners were scared of the European Union. And, England never would give up and take the euro. They kept the pound. So it was never a complete merger to begin with. So it was simplified fear, quite frankly, that caused this split. Now, I think there is some soul searching and some reconsideration. I'll tell you this right now. It's not mandatory that Britain get out of the European Union. This was a referendum that was supposed to be a guidance for Parliament on which to act. And I think as the weeks go by, you may see some second thoughts going on, some negotiations. Maybe we won't do everything there, but we'll stay in halfway, or who knows what may take place. So this thing is far from over. Yes, the stock market took a dip because of the uncertainty. Nobody knew what was happening. Anytime you have a huge uncertainty in the mix, you're going to see a downturn in the market. Remember, the market is still up to 17,000, the highest it's ever been, holding very, very well. That's going to come back. That's going to bottom out. And I think in time, we're going to see some serious discussions as to the future of Britain within the European Union and continuing to be a small partner in the United States, a continuing partner with the U.S. I don't want to minimize the fact it caused a huge amount of disruption and concern. Having said that, the end of the world is not going to come if Britain gets out of the European Union, or if Scotland leaves Britain. You're seeing a lot of secessionist movements going on all over Europe right now, in Spain, Venice, in southern Greece. A lot of these folks want to split off and take a different slant. Well, Texas has been talking about that for years. So I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to settle down. We just got to give it some time and get to our other simplified priorities of electing a president of the United States and trying to make some sense out of what's going on in this country. So hang in there. It's not as bad as it looks. I'll be right back.